I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 486 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, October 10th, 2025. Ready to rock and roll today, ladies and gentlemen. Got a busy couple days ahead. Got SmackDown I got to do tonight. I know they're airing it on Netflix internationally right now, but as of this recording, I'll be doing it for the live domestic audience a little later on with my transcript at WrestlingHeadlines.com. Welcome to the program, everybody. It's your boy Joshie. You can hit me up on X if you like, at the Hoots Podcast. Instagram, we are at Joshie Lopez Music. And also, for those who enjoy our work on YouTube, we are literally one subscriber away from reaching 600 on YouTube, which is awesome. Make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. That helps expand the reach of the show. We are at YouTube at the Hoots Podcast. Pretty simple. Type in the Hoots Podcast. You'll be able to subscribe there. And if you guys want to check out all audio versions of the podcast and previous episodes, make sure to check out the Hoots Podcast on our home, Odyssey. Thank you for the great people at Odyssey Creator Lab for having us. And we're very appreciative of the platform here as we continue our road to episode 500, which will be the final edition of the podcast of Hoots. So we have 14 episodes left. These weeks, as I say, I feel like a broken record now, but these weeks do definitely fly by. But I think in the next couple weeks and months, as we get closer and closer to end, I'm going to bring back my buddies that have been on the show over the years. Mr. Patrick Fritz will be making his appearance on the pod next week. Hopefully we can get McMule on the show. I would love to have Brother Carter on, but he's busy. Love to get referee Tony. Definitely have to have my boy Sam Piopo on the show pretty soon as well. And I'm open to anybody. For anybody that's listening to this podcast, if you've been on the show before, if you are a colleague of mine, if you supported this podcast, I'd love to hear from you guys. More importantly, I want to talk this out at the beginning, especially for those who are listening, and this is a test here. If you can do me a favor, if there's a content creator that's been getting on your nerves in the wrestling space, you know, I take it as a badge of honor to kind of hold people in my space accountable for the shitty and disingenuous takes that they dish out on air or on print or on these wrestling websites. I like to hold people accountable because if it's not going to be me, nobody's going to do it. We're just going to say whatever we want without nobody calling it out. And the fact that there's such a lack of nuance and substance in this space still in 2025 is embarrassing. And if I'm on my way out, I want to benefit the future wrestling content creators. I'm doing this for your benefit, guys, not mine. I fought the good fight, but that doesn't mean that change still needs to happen amongst this space. So I'm tossing this out there to all the good brothers and good sisters who check out this podcast each and every single week. If you can send me an audio MP3 file of you going on a rant on a dumb take that you saw on Twitter or an article or whatever, a podcast, a radio show. Hell, if there's something that you just need to get off your chest and you want to rant and rave, I'm opening the floor to you to send me those MP3 files here to the Hoots Podcast. I'll play it on the show as we get closer and closer to episode 500. Maybe we can do this as a weekly thing. But if you see something amongst the space that just makes you shake your head and you feel like you need to get something off your chest about it and it's taking away your enjoyment of wrestling, I want to hear from you. And reach out to me on X at the Hoots Podcast or send me those MP3 files at the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. coming up tomorrow morning, I'll be covering Crown Jewel from Perth, Australia. And looks like it's going to be a little early night for me. I'll do SmackDown, just go immediately to sleep. Got to get up at, I think, 5 in the morning tomorrow. Because that's when the kickoff show starts. And I got to get the outlines stuff for Crown Jewel after the fact. But anyways, I want to say that we'll get into the Crown Jewel stuff in this week in WWE. I got questions this week from Chris in the Back Porch Q&A session, as always. But I want to start off with this. I don't know about you guys, but like, especially since I'm in this like reflective state of mind, and I'm knowing that this chapter of my life is going to be ending soon when it comes to doing wrestling talk on a podcast, I, for the life of me, just don't understand why content creators just can't say what they want to say. Like, they have to add asterisks to it. They got to add different layers to what they're saying, and I think what's really bad now is that you're seeing certain content creators are kind of getting exposed for just pumping out content for clicks. And maybe their sentiment towards WWE is one way or another, and that's their prerogative. But the timing is kind of sus if you're looking at it from an optics point of view. So it's not just one person. I see it every day with people with blue check marks being like, "Oh, I'm falling out of love with WWE. Oh, I'm having a fallout with WWE. I'm having a fallout with WWE. I'm having a fallout with WWE." You know what happened when it came to me in AEW? When all those times I was doing the "what the hell's wrong with AEW" and it was a comedy segment, then it got to the point where I was becoming indifferent to the product. You know what happened? I stopped talking about it. Say what you have to say and keep it moving. Do you see me doing AEW reviews every week? Do you see me coming here shitting on their product every single week? Or coming out with YouTube videos explaining why I'm having a falling out with AEW? No. One, nobody cares. Two, that's my choice. And C, what business do I have to myself coming on here every week shitting on something that I don't enjoy? I don't watch the shows. I don't get paid to cover it unless the people from the site want me to cover it when the guy that they have on the staff that covers AEW is busy. I'll do something like for example, the guy that usually covers AEW for Wrestling Headlines, right? He was busy with a family thing. They had me cover Forbidden Door, the pay-per-view in London, about a month ago. No problem. No, I did that in August, actually. So I did Forbidden Door. No problem. But am I going on my way to watch AEW every week? Do I tweet about and live tweet about AEW as the show goes on? If I don't like a product, right? Why am I going to make a YouTube video explaining why I don't like a company unless it's convenient for me to get likes and retweets and comments and subscribers? It's just not a good look. I don't need to come on here and be like, and be the 150th wrestling podcast this week that comes out here and says, "Oh my God, Triple H is a horrible booker. Oh my God, WWE sucks in 2025. Oh my God, WWE's having the worst creative year of all time." Do I believe that? No. Do I believe that WWE is having their best creative year of all time? No. 2 and 2 can be the same. Do I think that this year's been a riveting success on all fronts for WWE? No. But do I think it's been the drizzling shits as a lot of you with blue check marks and podcasts and YouTube channels make it out to me? No. And it's hard for me to take people's opinions seriously in this space when the timing is like, okay, anything that gets any little bit of buzz or trend on X where there's a certain narrative that starts being run by sensitive, neurotic twats, that becomes the ongoing, this is the gospel opinion take on this angle, this character, this show, this booking, blah, 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 blah. We all know the whole fucking formula. We know the whole footprint of how these things go. We start a trend. Oh, I'm having a fallout with WWE. Oh, I'm having a fallout with WWE because of ticket sales, even though that doesn't affect my money. I'm having a fallout with WWE because they're raising their ticket prices, even though I make money live streaming their content in the clutch. It's just the optics of it. If you don't like WWE, don't talk about it. If you don't like WWE, don't watch. If you don't like WWE, stop spending your money on their shows and their merchandise. If you want to make an example, you want to make a point that you are so flabbergasted and taken aback and having a falling out, this is my problem. I have too much of a BS meter. I'm sorry. I call out BS too. I can call BS too easy. And it's the fact that I've been in this field for over 10 years. I've seen a lot of content creators come and go in the space, and they all do the same shtick. Oh, they get hot for WWE for a little bit. Then comes the alternative wrestling company, and so of their favorite wrestlers from WWE is not the champion, or they're not winning matches all the time. And then they flip the script because people on X and dirt sheets are upset about their fantasy booking not going the way they want, and it's like, oh, we gotta we gotta follow the trend, we gotta follow the flock, we gotta follow the sheeps and the IWC merchants who they gotta keep a certain narrative as big bad WWE, and then everything else is rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. My point that I'm expressing to you is, even for myself, you want to label me whatever you want, I don't give a shit. I don't have a label or allegiance to anything. I am a professional wrestling fan. I love all wrestling companies. I don't watch AEW. It's not of interest to me, but I'm not going to come on here and be like, oh, why doesn't AEW go out of business already? I'm not coming here ranting and raving like JD, who practically stole my shtick with what the hell is wrong with AEW. That's literally all he's doing right now. He's literally doing our segment of what the hell is wrong with AEW. The answer to that question, JD, is you gotta stop watching it. Biggest messages that could be sent, and this is true, the biggest message you can send to somebody is not doing or saying anything at all. And I wish for future content creators, if you are having a falling out or a company's not clicking with you at a certain time period, that's fine. Nobody's going to judge you for it. But don't do a fucking half-ass, oh, I wish it didn't get to this point. Oh, I didn't want it to get to this. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to get to this point. I never expected to be in this position where I'm saying that I'm having a falling out with WWE. Don't do that. Don't do that, because it's far too convenient for me to notice and pinpoint the people who are, okay, getting more access to AEW, and they're getting preferential treatment from AEW on the media side, and the wrestling media kisses AEW's ass every single fucking week. I know how this field works. If you are feeling the fact that you need to have a falling out with WWE because Tony Khan is acknowledging you, that's a you problem. That's not a WWE problem. And here's the thing, and this is the last thing I'll say about this. If you're a content creator, for the love of God, just think for yourself. Don't not make decisions in the fact that you feel like you need to fit in with the wrestling media and the IWC. They don't matter, and they don't care about you. They don't. They don't. I'm glad to say that I'm not part of either of those communities. Because guess what? I'm a wrestling fan. I am a wrestling content creator. And I can think for my fucking self. Those people are going to just run with every weekly dumbass narrative that they want to run with. And then say the opposite of that stupid narrative 5 months later. It's a freaking echo chamber that just doesn't stop. So my advice on the way out of this space, start thinking for yourself. And again, if you are having a falling out with the company, but this is really what bothers me. Stop letting fucking X dictate your enjoyment of a wrestling company. Stop letting shows like this dictate your enjoyment of wrestling. Just stop. Think for yourself. And if you're going to come out with a disingenuous video saying, oh, I'm having a falling out with WWE. And then the next video is how much you love AEW. You're showing your hand. Just some advice for somebody who actually cares about the future of this space and not content creators who just pump out fucking content for likes, comments, retweets, followers, clout on the IWC echo chamber. Screw the IWC and screw dirt sheet merchants. And that, folks, is this week's monologue. When we come back, we'll get to what happened this week in WWE, preview and predict Crown Jewel, and we'll get to the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 486 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast of Hoots. Time to talk what happened this week in WWE. Before we get to previewing everything and predicting Crown Jewel, I wanted to play a bit of an interview that Blake Monroe did on Busted Open. This is one of the fun features that we've been doing here on the podcast of Hoots and the old Pro Wrestling Experience show over my 11, 12 years of doing wrestling broadcasting over the years, is bring audio pieces of audio where we could showcase performers, answering questions and dumb narratives that are out in the wrestling bubble. And, you know, I'm very big on context and nuance and substance when it comes to wrestling talk. And I really enjoyed this conversation that Blake Monroe had with Bully Ray on Busted Open this week. And I'll talk to you on the other side of this interview. And here it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And the camo pants and, like, boots.
You know,
and we put the tape as well. Like,
you know, I normally save this for the end of the show, but look what I brought you.
Stop. Wait, everybody gets to wear these?
Look what I brought you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am handing Blake Monroe her very own pair of Dudley glasses right now. You can't take off the headsets.
Oh, well, I couldn't get it all on.
There you go.
I look like a real dog.
Well, that's kind of the gimmick.
I kind of felt like I would pull these off.
A real dog.
A real
You
dog.
look like a bit of... Now we're going to leave them on for the rest of the interview.
Yeah, and I also maybe have a little bit more work to do tonight, and I have a bad feeling I'm going to forget to take these off and run out to NXT, I feel like.
You're in the WWE universe, you're in NXT, but talk to me about the goals. Talk to me about your short-term goal and your long-term goal. Tell me about the childhood dream that you had.
Well, I think for me, it's like, well, the childhood dream was like, I wanted to be a WWE superstar. Like, when you're a kid, you only know WWE, like, that's the goal. And I did that, but I think in wrestling, if you don't have goals or aspirations or any career, like, if you feel like you're floating or coasting, for me, it makes me fall out of love with something. And if you don't love wrestling, it hurts, and there's no reward. So for me, I'm always looking for challenges or the next thing, and we talked a little bit about the heavy hitters in WWE, but across the board on their 3 brands, there are so many talented women, and even things like a Money in the Bank, ladder, like I said, in my first cage match, all these different things that I have never done and want to challenge myself to do, because growing up, I watched them, and obviously for me as a kid, it was mainly the dudes, but even now, like, you see all the women doing it, but my big goal, and it sounds cheesy, but it's just to make people feel something. Like, I don't yes, I want to win championships as part of your legacy, but the championship doesn't make you. It's stories, it's moments. It's like, I remember this, or do you remember this match, or do you remember when she did this, or, oh, I loved it when those two wrestled. Like, that's, and I've had some of that in my career, and that's kind of the impression I want to make. And, you know, I'm looking at the girls and wondering, like, who am I going to have that chemistry with? Who am I going to tell those stories with? So for me, I feel like if you can really get the fans to feel something, you know, that's the best feeling, because you feel it out there, you feel the energy. It's
really refreshing to have a talent as young as you talking about what's important to you in a match, making them feel something, because people only remember the way you make them feel. At the end of the day, they're not going to remember the moves and blah blah blah. It's how they felt watching you, how they felt listening to you. And especially in this company, that's the biggest thing. At the end of the day, it is, you know, world wrestling entertainment being the last word and the most important word, and you have to make them feel something.
Because I feel like too, in Japan, which is very much known for like the moves and the wrestling, and they have great stories there.
You did Stardom?
I did Stardom, and people loved, you know, me and my tag partner, like our friendship. Like, we were like the party girls, and like we came out and had like champagne and we danced, and people were way more interested in that. And like, you know, they liked some of my single matches, but more so because they're like seeing a girl improve in front of their eyes. But that was something like in a foreign country where I can't even speak their language, they loved. They were, you know, attached to that. The merch sold, like they were excited. They did the dance, like they would make video, like that's something. And then in the previous company I worked for, it's very heavy on the wrestling, but nobody cares about the wrestling I did. It was a story I told with somebody and how that made them feel. So, and also when you do it, it's a blast. Like somebody said to me, make sure you stop and enjoy it, because you have something really special. And when I stopped and did that, I was like, this is so fun. Like, why do you... Because it's really easy, like, you say I'm young, I feel old, but, like, it's really easy when you're new, like, you're freaking out about everything. Freaking out about everything, remembering everything, this and this and this. And it's like, why don't you just stop and enjoy it? And I feel like fans can sense when you're in it and you're feeling it, and they feel it. And it's like, oh, this is what it is. And it's not easy to find. And like you said, when I came here, I'm, like, a little trepidatious and nervous, but it's like, once you find your feet and you start to find that chemistry with people, like, it's really easy to get into it and have fun. You talked about having some great chemistry with other people that are not in the WWE universe right now. When you look at the roster, whether that's the NXT roster or on Raw and SmackDown, do you see a woman that you say to yourself immediately, yes, her. Yeah. I believe if I could ever get in the ring with her, I could have something special. Yeah, I mean, the big one for me, I feel like right now in NXT, when I came, I always said I wanted to wrestle Sol. I feel like she is just the ultimate babyface. And I feel like to my bones, I am a heel. Like, I'm not likable. I feel like we are opposites. And I feel like she has an interesting story with Zarya. And I feel like, for me, that's just, like, so fun to play with. I also really like Tatum. There's just something about her that I'm always, like, interested in. And then main roster, I mean, that's a field day. I haven't thought too much about it because I'm trying to focus on one thing at a time. But for me, I feel like Rhea, again, opposites. I just feel like there's something there. But I also feel like sometimes when you're very similar to someone, like the Liv Morgan to me too, I see a lot of myself in Liv. I feel like she was very underrated for her in-ring, and she's good. But when she found, like, her character and she found her feet, I mean, she was having, like, the run of a lifetime before she got hurt, and I'm sure she's going to pick back up where she left off. But I see, like I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I see similarities there, and I feel like that there could be a really good story. But I mean, it's so deep. That's just off the top of my head, but there's so many. Something you just said, like, really caught my ear. You're like, I'm a heel. You said, I'm not likable. Now, when I hear that, my cold black heart goes pitter-patter. I love the way that sounds, but tell me what is not likable about you. And you're talking to one of the most unlikable mother truckers that ever walked. Yeah, well, you're my role model. This is it. I hope so. I will make people despise you. But what is not likable? To hear you say that about yourself, tell me what's not likable about you. I think if you know me in real life, I think you would like me. Like, I try to be a good person. I think I'm sweet. But I think in terms of my performance and where I thrive, like, when I watch movies, I love villains. I feel like it is so fun. It's so fun to be so awful. And like,
yes,
also I'm good at getting my ass handed to me too, so I feel like that plays into it. But just in my limited experience, I feel like I've always been rejected as a babyface. And, you know, timing is everything. You don't know in 3 years, it might be like, we love her, and they love all the things that aren't, you know, generically babyface about me. But I have never really, apart from like kind of family shows on the indies, I've never been liked. Like, people have always, especially coming up on the independents, like, they're very hardcore fans. They don't like me. Like, they just don't. I'm not one of them. I don't fit in with them. And instead of trying to fight it, I've always just been like, all right, if you say I'm that, then, you know, because I remember which is so ironic now, but like when I first started, they're like, she's just using wrestling to get famous. And like, here I am, you know, years later still doing it. But I just kind of always played into that. I'm like, okay, if that's what you think, then why kind of fight what's on the table for you? Like, why go against it? So I think I'm a better heel. Like I said, I love a challenge, and one day I hope like to be a baby face, but also in the better stories I've ever told, I've always been the bad guy.
The only way to become a loved babyface is to be a hated heel first, and vice versa. When it comes to being hated, do you think people hate the way you look, hate the way you talk? What is it?
Yeah, I'm British.
Okay, do you think that's it? Do you think it's that I'm better than everybody else? Because when you first got here, when you first got to NXT, I felt that they were trying to put their toe in the water of, we want people to like this girl.
So for me, I always feel like, unless you're a pure babyface, and I said Soul, because there's something about Soul, I hate her, but I feel like it's very likable. Like, she's this beautiful surfer, but she's not like, she doesn't come across as up, you know, right? Like, she's just cool. Like, whereas I feel like with me, like, the glamour is fun, but it's almost one-dimensional as a babyface. Whereas when I'm not perfect, when it's the woman from hell and the glamour, and you see these flaws which kind of come with being a bad guy, it's like, that's when I feel like I get over. And when I say over, I don't mean being liked. I feel like getting a reaction, getting booed. Like, I obviously had a story with Jordan. I feel like we got better reactions as it went on, and you started to see, like, Blake is awful. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but that's the other thing too, and like, this might be because I grew up watching wrestling, but if I'm a heel, I don't want people to like me. And I feel like too, as a heel, like, I'm not afraid to do heelish things. I think, like, some of my experience in wrestling, I've seen a lot of heels want to be cool, and they want to be like, you know, strong and like a badass, and like, I don't care. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't. In what great movie did you ever watch where like the villain was like, yeah, some villains are cool, but they were just like, you're not supposed to, like, it's not. So I feel like sometimes I can do things other people are like too scared to do because they're too afraid to be disliked, whereas I really don't care.
Well, that's great, because leading into it is the way to go. Before you came to the WWE, you were working with a different company, and you had a choice when your contract came to an end. You had a choice of staying with that company or coming to the WWE. Why did you decide to come here when it seems like things were going really well for you over there?
Yeah, I mean, I had a fantastic experience, and I did things I'm so proud of and cherish. And when I had a really short contract, and when it came to an end, you know, there were positives and negatives. But it got to a point with wrestling where I did have an amazing story, but that was the one thing I had. I didn't have much else, and I just thought, is this everything I want? I also considered going to Japan, which I feel like nobody knows, and it's something I talked to them about. And then when my deal was up, people were like, you just talk to WWE and just see, because I wasn't considering it. And that's not an insult to WWE. It's incredible. I just didn't, I always just try to focus on one thing at a time on wrestling. So it's like I hadn't considered it. And when I talked to them and they cared so much about the glamour and so much about all these different things, I was like, okay, now I do have a big choice to make. And I really sat and thought about it. And it was a really, really tough decision. But it just came down to, I did everything I needed to do. I feel like I told a great story. I feel like I made people feel something. And it's time to close that chapter. And it's time to start a new one, and like getting a new name and a whole new experience. And like I said, there are so many women here. Like, women's wrestling is very important in WWE. And that's something, as a woman, like, I want to be a part of. And just, like I said, all these different matches and possibilities, for me, it was a great deal. And it was just a challenge. I want a challenge.
If the decision was up to you, would you have kept your prior name, or would you have liked to
No, because if you're familiar with my prior name, I feel like it was the end to a story, and I cherish that, and I feel like it's kind of cool that, like, she died almost, and, like, that's done. And also, I can't turn back time, so I never really think about it, but Mariah is my real name, and I wish I never used it in wrestling, because it's weird. But I did it, and I can't change it, but just the chance to start something new. And I feel like, you know, with WWE, it's like, hey, we're going to make this new thing, and we're going to make it a megastar. And I feel like week by week we do that, and yeah, I love it. And it's also a tribute to my niece, so I feel like it's cool.
Tell me that story.
Yeah, so my niece is called Blake, and we always used to watch WWE together, and she'd, like, jump around the bed and be so excited. And when they said, you know, how do you feel about the name? Would you be open to changing it? And I was like, I actually probably would. So Monroe was the first wrestling name I ever wrote down. I still have it. I still have it in a book, and I have a screenshot from my friend from, like, 2017, I think. Mm-hmm. I didn't start wrestling till, like, 2020, 2019. So I want to do Monroe as, like, a first name. And then, like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, I wanted something a little bit... People don't like the name because they think it's boyish, but that's why I like the name. Because I feel like if you're in a really intense feud, it's like, Monroe. Whereas I feel like Blake is, like, serious. So I was like... I like that it was, like, Blake, which is my niece, and is kind of unisex, and then Monroe, which is so pretty, but is a little gimmicky. So I thought, like, putting the two together was different, and, like, the name is very controversial, which I like, because people talk about me, so...
As long as they're talking about you, and they are definitely talking about you. I know you have a couple of other things to do tonight, otherwise I would invite you to stay for the entire show.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for giving me some time tonight. It was great having you on. Yeah. Good luck with everything.
And I'm so glad I did it like this.
Absolutely. And if you ever need help on finding your true inner hatred, just give me...
Oh, I'm that. No one is a bigger hater than me. I feel like sometimes I'm on Twitter going off and I'm like, am I going to get a text? Like, hey, put the phone down. I haven't got it yet.
Put the phone down.
I haven't got it yet.
All right. That's Blake Monroe and Bully Ray on Busted Open. Tomorrow, we got Crown Jewel, which is going to be streaming on the new ESPN Unlimited app. Be ready to fire that bad boy up tomorrow. 5 o'clock in the morning. Rise and shine. Get that fingers going, typing fingers going, ready to put out a beautiful transcript to start off the weekend. And it's going to be a good time. So, Crown Jewel is coming up on tomorrow morning. Before we get to the predictions, I just want to talk really quick about Showdown, which happened on Tuesday for NXT and TNA. I thought it was a good vibe. Hardy's new NXT Tag Team Champions. They defeated Darkseid to kick off the show. We had the Women's Survivor Series match. I thought it was fantastic. Soruka is... I know I'm not the only one that puts her over in this field, but she's on another level, man. She's fantastic in the ring, and her timing and stuff, I think, is just fantastic. So shout out to Soul, man. She's one of one. JC Jane's ego knows no bounds, though, but she found a way to steal the victory from Soul, and Team NXT won that one. For me, the best match from Showdown was Ethan Page and Mustafa Ali for the North American Championship. If you haven't seen that match, go out of your way to check it out. And then, of course, the main event was Team NXT versus Team TNA. Happy to see the guys from Team TNA get the big dub. They got Bound for Glory coming up this weekend, their biggest show of the year. By the way, congrats to the beautiful Mickie James and the beautiful people for going into the 2025 TNA Hall of Fame. Well-earned honors for all three ladies, especially Mickie James. Hardcore country. Let's get to the predictions, shall we, for Crown Jewel coming up tomorrow morning. Starting off with the Kabuki Warriors taking on Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I got Rhea and Io getting the victory in this one. This is going to start things going into the dissension between Asuka and Kairi Moore. We'll have Io and Asuka probably taking on each other at Saturday night's main event. put this out on X yesterday. If you look at where we're heading towards War Games, I know a lot of people are assuming that the men's War Games is going to look like some type of bloodline against division type of thing. But for the women, and I heard this on a show last night, they're like, oh, there's no clear, obvious way to have the women. They're just going to throw people together. Not really. If you've been paying attention to the programming, if you see especially what's going on the Raw side of things, I think it's plain and obvious that it's going to be Rhea, Io, Bayley, Lyra, AJ Lee taking on Becky, the Kabuki Warriors, and the Judgment Day. It's like literally right in front of your guys' eyes. So we'll see how that plays out in the coming weeks. From there, like I said, I think Io and Asuka definitely will have a one-on-one match down the road, but I see Rhea and Io get the victory here in Rhea's home country. Speaking of home country, Bronson Reed is also from Australia. He'll be taking on the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Let's hear a little comments here from Bronson Reed, as Bronson was part of the Crown Jewel kickoff media event that just happened this morning in Australia.
That's right, Tribal Thief. We're on my home soil now. And the fact that some of you want to boo me and cheer Roman Reigns makes me sick to my stomach as an Australian. Tomorrow night, the disrespect. I knew we should have had this event in my hometown of Adelaide. Tomorrow night, Roman Reigns, you talk about your island of relevancy. Well, now you're on my island. And on my island, I will make you my bitch.
Oh, man. Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns, Australian street fight. This is going to be a barn burner. I'm excited for this one. They're going to beat the shit out of each other. I've seen some people this week in the face be like, oh, why is Roman Reigns wasting his time on Bronson Reed? Why is Roman Reigns wasting his time on Bronson Reed? Because you're the same nincompoop that was saying, oh, why isn't Bronson Reed on the Australian card? He's from Australia. You know all the hissy fitting that they were having over the Elimination Chamber last year? Oh my God, you thought the earth was going to come to an end because Bronson Reed was left off the card of Australia. Jeez, guys, you guys talk out both sides of your asses. Anyways, Roman and Bronson, they're going to beat the crap out of each other. I'm excited for it. That's going to be a barn burner. I'm going with Bronson Reed in that one. If you want my prediction, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Bronson Reed. From there, we got Stephanie Vaquer against Tiffany Stratton. That's going to be the Women's Crown Jewel Championship match. I am going with Stephanie Vaquer to beat Tiffany Stratton. I think it's going to be a good physical matchup between the two of them. And I'm excited to see just for the match layout. It's going to be a fun match. Then we get to AJ Styles, John Cena, one last time. We're going to go back to the kickoff show for this morning. AJ Styles was being interviewed by Michael Cole. Let's hear what AJ has to say. I got two clips here for that.
I want to start off the questioning tonight about an interview that you did with Tokyo Sports a couple of weeks ago, where you told them that 2026, next year, will probably be your final year in the ring. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
I'm getting old, folks. Listen, if I could find the fountain of youth and take a couple sips, I'd wrestle for the rest of my life. But, you know, I am getting older. The fear of embarrassing myself is getting closer. And you know what? There comes a time in a man's life when he has to, you know, take care of business, but when business is done, it's time to take care of his family. I need to spend time with my family. The whole idea with wrestling and having an amazing future in this business is to be able to retire one day, and in 2026, I will retire.
That's the first clip from AJ. Here comes the second one about AJ and John Cena, battle of WWE guys and TNA guys.
It's huge. There's a reason. Just like you said, it's two guys who got in a ring you never thought you'd see in a WWE ring together. John Cena, AJ Styles, the TNA guy against the WWE guy. That's what made it special. And I don't know how and I don't know why, because John Cena and I are nothing alike in any kind of way, but when we get in the ring together, it's magic. So I can promise you this, when it's all said and done, tomorrow night, John Cena and AJ Styles will leave it all in the ring.
And with that being said, you actually, well, you may have John Cena's number because John has only beaten you once in his entire career.
He's only beat me once, but the one time he beat me was for the WWE Championship. So that kind of sucks. But we're going to do it again tomorrow night. I get to do one of my favorite things. Beat up John Cena.
Beat up John Cena. Oh, lordy, man. John Cena and AJ Styles one last time. That's going to be a lot of fun. Had a lot of sentimental, nostalgic moments on this John Cena retirement tour. Randy Orton and Backlash, Punk at Night of Champions. We've had Cody Rhodes amongst the matches that we've seen so far. John Cena's definitely been playing the hits, and it wouldn't be a John Cena retirement tour without him revisiting a match with AJ Styles for sure. They've had a tremendous rivalry. Glad to say, in my experience of making transcripts and everything in my career, that I've been able to cover the entire John Cena AJ Styles rivalry. And a lot of people have different guesses of what their favorite matches between the two of them are. For me, my favorite one from AJ Styles and John Cena was the Royal Rumble match where John Cena tied Ric Flair, only due to the fact that it was the match where they never left the ring. They had a 5-star match without leaving the ring. Think about that. With the way wrestling is today, and it's like the necessity to go outside to get cheap pops and stuff. Like, to have a match of that magnitude and that quality without ever leaving the ring, it shows you how good John Cena and AJ Styles are. And I'm excited for what they got to offer us tomorrow at Crown Jewel, and I think they're going to deliver the same type of quality of a match. So I'm excited for that. So I'm going to go with John Cena to beat AJ Styles, but it's going to be a fantastic match. Then we got Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. I've loved the lead-up and build-up for this match. The backstage vignette promos talking about their rivalry and how we got to this point. Seth Rollins becoming like despondent and just like just crashing out within, heading into this. Like, obviously Cody's in his head. He's playing mind games with him. He does have 3 victories over Seth Rollins. This is a big one for Seth Rollins, and this could curtail signs for a lot of things to come to close out 2025, and a lot of things to happen for these next couple of PLEs and stuff like that. I have Seth Rollins beating Cody Rhodes, but I wouldn't be surprised either if Cody beats Seth and Seth definitely goes off the deep end. But a lot of things can happen here. But I'm excited for this match. I do have Seth Rollins winning, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Cody won either. And I would understand, too, why Cody would win that match, too. But I'm excited, man. Crown Jewel's coming up tomorrow. I'll be covering it for WrestlingHeadlines.com. Please check it out in the results section. That's where I do all my articles for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and all the PLEs. Make sure to check it out at WrestlingHeadlines.com and my own website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. When we come back, we got one more segment to do here on the podcast at Hoots this week, and that's to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Backboards Q&A session, right here on episode 486 of the Hoots Podcast, as the road to episode 500 continues. Yeet. All right, one last segment to do here for the pod this week. Time to answer your questions for the Backboards Q&A session, right here on the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to throw up the X. Let's do it. Throw up the X for the good brother Chris Letta, X Team Letta24X on the Twitter machine. He sends us questions each and every single week, just like you guys can. You hit me up on X at the Hoots Podcast during the week, or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Let's see what Chris has for us this week. What up, Hoots? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Do you have Morgan Wallen on your playlist? Yes, I do. I liked Morgan Wallen's Dangerous album a little bit more than the ones that he's been coming out with recently, but I kind of missed the ballads and stuff that Morgan Wallen did. Now it's just like him mixing hip-hop here and there, and some of it's good, some of it's meh. But I do have Morgan Wallen on my playlist. How big is the gap between country music and today's hip-hop music? Can hip-hop eventually make a comeback? That's a good question. There's a large gap. If you want to talk about quality, let me use this in wrestling jargon, right? Hip-hop today is like the NWA, and country music is like WWE. That's the gap right now between country music and hip-hop. Hip-hop today is not good unless it's Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and that's not saying much. So, I would love to see a resurgence of hip-hop, but the issue is that there's not enough thought into the music side of the songs. Yeah, you have a cool couple drum beats here and there you can make on Pro Tools and all these different programs and stuff like that, but there's no feel to it. Where's the guitars? You can actually hear the actual guitar playing, not something that's automated, like there's no feel to it. But we'll see. Does Mike Santana bring the TNA title back with him at Bound for Glory? Yes, he will. He says here, I'll be at Bound for Glory Sunday. Will you be tuned in? Your thoughts on the Leon Slater-Javon Evans match? That's a good question. You know what, Chris? I'll probably, I will watch it. I'll have to find a live stream for it since I'm not covering it. But I will watch it, and I think Leon Slater and Javon Evans is going to steal the show. That match is going to be insane. So I'm looking forward to that match. It's going to be very good. Which match are you looking forward to the most for Crown Jewel? AJ Styles and John Cena. Does Brock get involved in a Cody-Seth match? Well, that'd be something that nobody would see coming. I wouldn't be surprised, and honestly, Chris, I wouldn't be opposed to it. So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see those things where leaked pictures of Brock Lesnar in Australia. We'll just have to see. I don't know. I saw how you booked the women's war game. How would you book the men's? Division, Brock Lesnar. There's 4, right? 4 or 5? Man. Division, Brock Lesnar, and Drew McIntyre against the Bloodline with Jacob Fatu and CM Punk. We'll leave it at that. Let's see. With the Hoots Podcast nearing the end, I know me and Sam are down to be part of it. Can we get an exclusive IWC roast before the podcast ends? I would like to do that. The thing is, I don't pay for StreamYard anymore, and I don't have a StreamYard account, and that's the thing. That's why I haven't really been doing audio. I haven't been doing video editions of the podcast. I mean, hell, nobody wants to see this face anyway. But I would like to do that. It's just something where we have to use somebody's StreamYard account because I don't have one. If anybody can make a StreamYard account for me, I'll do it. But that's the thing that what I said earlier. If you guys want to do a roast about the IWC, here's your chance. Send me those MP3 files. Send me a rant, and I'll play it right here on the show. Send those at the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. When it comes to the final episode, will you do on screen? And how long do you think that episode will be? I probably will. I don't know how long that episode's going to be. I know it's going to be very emotional and cathartic for me. But I think for certain, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll do a video edition of the podcast for episode 500 for sure. Yeah, I'll do that. The last question here, he says, if Bray was still around, do you think something with Karrion Kross would have give Kross that major stamp for the company and would have taken him to the next level? That's a great question. Yeah, I think it would. In more ways than one. It's a shame that we don't have Wyndham here with us anymore. I guess the only solace that we could take from all of that is that he was no longer in pain and didn't have to suffer anymore because he was dealing with bad COVID issues during the time. But yeah, definitely Kross would have benefited from having a program with Bray. I believe that for sure. But on that note, we're going to put a ribbon on the bow of this week's edition of the Hoots Podcast. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me this week as always. Make sure to hit me up on X at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. As always, make sure to check out my transcripts, WrestlingHeadlines.com in the results section, as I'll be covering Crown Jewel, as I'll be covering SmackDown tonight as well on the USA Network. Also, as always, make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're currently at 600 now, so thank you all for helping us out. We've been getting a lot more subscribers recently, and I appreciate that. Also, don't forget to check out the podcast. It comes to you free of charge every single Friday, anywhere you get your podcast from. But our home for the Hoots Podcast is Odyssey, and we appreciate the folks at Odyssey for having us. On that note, remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy Crown Jewel. We'll be here to recap it next week as we go from 14 episodes down to 13. And don't forget, our boy Patrick Fritz at Rated PWF will be on the pod next week. So, for everybody here, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 486 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.